this was on Reddit. It was a map of countries that recognized the Bangladesh genocide, and there was one or two. And I looked it up. It was in the 70s. Have you ever heard of it?
No.
I never heard of it. I thought it was just incredible. We were talking about education before, that I never heard of it. Something like 500,000 people were killed. It was, I mean, it's awful. It was a rape genocide, meaning that it was an explicitly condoned thing where not only did they kill a bunch of these people, that like rape was part of it. They were trying to like exterminate this racial group. It was brutal and vicious.
What does raping help you exterminate?
The idea being that all these babies are being had of the invaders, which I believe was Pakistan.
But aren't you just going to kill the mom afterwards?
No, they had a lot of babies.
Oh, this is a weird genocide.
Sometimes they killed them, sometimes they didn't. Here's the thing. They're all weird genocides, right? Like, the logic here isn't really adding up.
Yeah. It's almost like they shouldn't have done this.
Yeah. But what I was, you hear this about history, and another thread that was on Reddit was, how is the American Revolution taught in Britain?
I saw this one. Fascinating.
0, right?
It's not taught. They don't teach about America overthrowing the British government in England.
Which just makes you realize that history is a means of which you inculcate and control a population.
Well, I'll toss one to you. How much did you know about the Vietnam War?
Dude, we breezed over that. 11th grade, Gulf of Tonkin, Tet Offensive. It was a couple of words, done.
No, okay, we're going to talk about World War II.
Yeah.
Forever. Okay, I think Vietnam War is the next major war. Is that right?
Korea.
For America?
Korea.
Okay, we didn't learn about that one either, really.
No.
But so then there's the Korean War, Vietnam War. What do you know about the Vietnam War? North and South Vietnam, and we were with the good guys.
Yeah.
Okay. Then you go to Vietnam.
Yeah.
Dude, I went to have you been to Vietnam?
Yeah, it's
dude,
heartbreaking.
I went to the War Museum. I had to sit down. I got nauseous.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been so ashamed to be an American.
Mm-hmm.
I was halfway through the museum and I sat down on a bench, was just like, I'm gonna throw up because this is so horrible.
Yeah.
Our schools didn't teach us shit about the Vietnam War.
We're swearing a lot.
Whatever. It's already demonetized.
It's demonetized.
Don't even put ads on this one.
So
we're not gonna try.
So we didn't learn. There were all of these CIA interventions. Guatemala, the Pinochet in Chile. There was the guy in Iran where BP wanted their.
You're basically saying the education system is mostly a propaganda machine when it comes to history.
If not, period. I mean, certainly when it comes to history, and
it's hard. I mean, it's hard to be a propaganda machine about like calculus.
Well, yeah, you'd be surprised.
I would be surprised. Tell me more.
Well, we could talk about it. That's a huge metaphysical thing. We'll get into that in a different podcast, perhaps, because I don't fully understand all the implications. But I have heard people make the argument that math is often treated, and the sciences. I mean, the science is a great example. Science is treated as this infallible thing, especially on the East Coast, where there's like superstition on the one hand, and then there's the scientific science on the other hand. Mm-hmm. But what you're not taught in science is the scientific method as perhaps the best way of learning things. What you're taught is this is accepted by scientists. So really most science is an appeal to authority as it is taught in education. Secondarily, the scientific method only teaches you how things have worked in the past. It makes a pretty good claim on what will happen in the future. But just because a billiard ball broke every time at that angle in the past does not mean it will continue to do so in the future. So science, this is the whole Humean thing. Science takes past data and says, this is the rule. But you don't know that that's the rule until something else breaks. Mm-hmm. And so you can come up with a bunch of different theories. And the nice thing about science is that it then incorporates the failure into it if it's wise and smart and it's not led by fallible humans who are stuck to their own theories. And they go, oh, wow, sometimes the 8-ball swings to the right. And we have to account for that. In any event, you don't learn the scientific method. You learn to respect scientific authority is what you learn in school. Back to history. I'm blown away, man. I'm blown away that this horrible genocide, and we're told never forget, and obviously 9/11 is an important thing, but I look at the scale of what has happened to America and Pearl Harbor and how critical that has been in my understanding of the world, and 9/11, and the world is a post-9/11 world where I think between 3,000 and 4,000 Americans were killed in a horrible attack, and no one cares about the Bangladeshi genocide. No one cares about, at least not no one. No one in my education system cares. Sure. Bangladeshi people care. So it was eye-opening and just made me realize how much of my understanding of history and the world and the way that things broke is inadvertently just a subject of propaganda.
Well, we've talked about this, though, because every country's population tends to think that despite its flaws, its country is one of the best.
Yeah.
And that this could be partially wise because from the age of 5, you're taught history only to the effect of making your country look good.
Yeah.
So as far as Britain's concerned, British Empire was dope.
Somebody made a joke.
Something happened.
something. There's no more empire.
Now there's no more empire. But it was pretty great.
Yeah.
You know? And when you're in the U.S.,
Do you remember the first story of the Pilgrims and the Indians where they got together for Thanksgiving?
Oh, yeah.
They made friends.
Yeah.
It's like, yeah. That's what happened. Until like 12th grade, and you're like, so there was this manifest destiny thing. Like,
turns out there were a lot more Native Americans than there are today.
Yeah. Well, what I did learn, which I don't know if is true, and it's so interesting because I studied in Costa Rica for a period, and the history you get is completely different than it is. Obviously, still America focused, but they're not big fans of the colonizers. You focus on the war crimes of Cortez, and they weren't war crimes at the time. There were no war crimes. It was just brutal of Cortez and Pizarro and all. I mean, it was a massacre. It was horrible. But yeah, man, history. What are you gonna
do? So far on these podcasts, don't trust any major news outlet.
Trust anything.
Don't trust any major news outlet. Don't trust YouTube news, and don't trust anything you learned in school.
Yeah.
Cool.
But tune into Charisma on Command.